Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wait, What? Why? The podcast that ponders the origins of why we do the things that we do. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. In this episode, we are discussing the origins of the jack-o'-lantern. I'm Nicole Gallagher, and this is my husband,
Dennis Gallagher.
And thank you for joining us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. It's Sunday. It's a sunny Sunday, and doing great. No worries. Got a lot done today, and ready to talk about jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start off with talking about fall. Fall is my most favorite time of year.
That is very true.
In general, I love every single thing about fall. I'm a teacher, so it means back to school for me. So I've never lost that feeling of back to school. It gets me excited. I can't wait for it to happen. Even though, it's the same grade year after year.
You
and
still go through that same biorhythm or whatever that is, right?
Yeah,
just
it's just
kids,
exciting. Just as the summer gets hot and it's wearing down and back to school starts, and I get super excited for that. I love everything about foliage. Again, we're on the East Coast. Our foliage is gorgeous. Apple picking, going to the farms.
Seasonal vegetables, absolutely.
The farmer's market. There's just so many awesome things that I love about it. So,
and it all seems like it leads up to.
Three of my most favorite things: Halloween.
Yep.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thanksgiving and crescendo is Christmas.
Whatever
the end of the year.
Well, wait till that episode. There's going to be some bonus ones coming out about that one.
I bet there will.
And even for Halloween, maybe. Stay tuned.
I would have to say, hands down, fall is your favorite for sure.
Fall is my favorite, but because it encompasses
all of those
best holidays. I can't even express how much I love it. The pies, the food, the candy, the pumpkin spice scents, when we get into December, it's my balsam and fir.
Roasted pumpkin seeds.
Yes.
You start getting more into, casseroles and things like that.
Winter food. I'm a winter food person.
Absolutely.
I love grilling and all that stuff too, but I feel like we run out of things to.
You mean you love me grilling?
I love when
round,
you grill.
When it's cold.
Yes. I can, but it's just not as good. You do it. When you do it, it just tastes so much better.
Practice.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's talk about, I don't know, because I feel like we've had very different childhoods, but I thought we could talk about Halloween and did your family have any Halloween traditions?
No, just really trick or treating. And I mean, if there were, we did haunted houses and things like that. They did take us to haunted houses, and I of course went when I was a little grown up and could do it a little more on my teens. No real big traditions that way. Not like I'm expecting that you did.
I had all right. So. Just focusing just on the month of October and Halloween, because I have a tendency to just talk about it all. When you did costumes, did you make your own costumes?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, we had store-bought costumes sometimes, store-bought costumes sometimes. But no, we definitely made our own. I had one particularly embarrassing memory regarding the costume in 7th grade, which is your grade, right?
Yes, I teach 7th grade, and I love it.
7th grade, almost positive, at Brennan Middle School in Attleboro, Massachusetts. My mother got, I think from my aunt, it was a frog costume, like a homemade frog costume, kind of like in the Christmas Story.
Yes,
right?
the bunny, the pink bunny.
Well, we had a
pink
frog,
nightmare.
and
yes.
and my aunt loved it. It was beautiful, unless you were in the 7th grade and had to wear it. And I think I won the contest. I want to say for the grade also, which is even more embarrassing.
Were you Kermit?
It was Kermit, maybe. Yes, for sure. Yes, there's pictures around. My mother would know where the pictures are. She's actually probably seen them just to keep the shame current. You know how mothers are.
All right. So if I can find that picture, I will post it on this episode.
You get word to Evie, and she'll find that picture.
And that will be amazing.
That's my bad, but we definitely had a mix of store-bought costumes and homemade costumes and things like that. And we made a lot of our own decorations around the house, and it was definitely not all store-bought. I mean, Ooh, middle means.
And getting back, I feel like we could have a whole episode on that, because I was just going to say, if you're not from the 80s, maybe even early 90s era, if you're younger than that, you want to check out the costumes that you could buy at the store. They were horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
They were those plastic faces with just the string around it, and the costume itself was like always a one piece plastic, almost like those tablecloths you get at the dollar store or wherever for like $1.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what the costumes were made out of.
Yeah.
And my mother always made my costumes, but
I didn't know that.
always. And she was very crafty, and I had some amazing costumes. But anyway, jack-o'-lantern carving, which we're going to talk about jack-o'-lanterns today and the history behind that. That's always been a tradition. For me, I always did it. I think
we did it too. We did it too. It was definitely not the tradition that it is for you and has been for our family. When I was a kid, it was much different with our kids, you and I. But we definitely did that. I don't recall like roasting the seeds and going for the full fall, which I love very much. But
so good.
You brought that to the table.
Yes.
I guess your mom.
So our family tradition now, and well, since we've been together with children, has been to go to the farm. We do a bunch of apple picking. I'll usually buy some homemade pies there. I usually make my own apple pies, but I'll buy their blueberry pies and other things. And then we'll all pick out pumpkins, and we'll each carve our own pumpkin and then roast the seeds, which are delicious.
Yes, they're very good.
A little bit of olive oil, some sea salt. Oh,
yes,
so
if you haven't
good.
tried them, try them. They're very simple. You basically, what are you going to do with the rest of the pumpkin anyways?
Right.
That you clean out. So yeah, no, try it. Super, super tasty.
Yes. And we will get into more Halloween traditions, I think, as we get closer to the holiday, but we'll stick to the story behind jack-o'-lanterns.
I'm giving this a little bit of thought. I'll be interested I might be able to contribute to this segment. Yeah.
Do you want to start off with a theory?
No, no. All I was thinking was just, how pervasive the jack-o'-lantern is. Again, whether it is a haunted house or a maze outside or, Ichabod Crane and stories, and there always is a jack-o'-lantern involved. For sure.
The headless horseman.
Yes. I mean, there's always a jack-o'-lantern involved. So there's something very frightful about it. And when you told me you wanted to talk about this, I don't do the research like you do, hon. But I was thinking about it. Yeah, it's pervasive for sure.
If you had to pick a country or a culture,
United States.
No, nothing. Thanksgiving. I'll give you Thanksgiving.
That's right.
I'll ask you that question when we talk about Thanksgiving.
Right. So if I had to pick another country.
Or a culture, think ancient. It comes up every time we do an episode. Well, when we talked about superstitions. Okay, no. All right, so it's the Celts.
Oh. It's always the crazy culture, right? It's
a lot of it.
That's so true.
Well, a lot of it was that pagan culture. Anyway, so we're going to get into a little bit of the story behind it all. But just an overview. The traditions of Halloween originated from a blend of Samhain. It's pronounced S-A-M. I mean, it's spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N, but it's pronounced like Samhain. And that's the Celtic celebration marking the end of the summer harvest. And Christian traditions honors saint and martyrs. And then, so from that, trick-or-treating, scary costumes are two of the ancient traditions that survived. And another the most popular one is pumpkin carving. So it was around for many centuries, except in Ireland, they didn't use pumpkins.
What did they use? Potatoes?
Close.
You can't put much candy in a potato.
Turnips.
Turnips are
Do
bigger?
you put candy in your jack-o'-lantern?
Hey, if you're walking around collecting. Oh, I guess not back
No.
then. I'm thinking of the plastic ones. How silly am I?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Continue. Decent pro. Sorry for
Turnips
the
and rutabagas.
Okay.
So, winter squashes.
Yep. What they had available. What was plentiful.
Yeah, gourds, things like that. An old Irish tale explains the origin of the jack-o'-lantern and how the scary gourds got their name. It all goes back to one horrible man people called Stingy Jack. And this is his story.
Stingy Jack. That just sounds so... I wouldn't trust him either.
No,
Hey, he put the
stingy.
faces in the gourds. You watch.
You call me stingy.
Oh, I've changed stingy to frugal, right? Frugal?
Yes.
I changed that term. You didn't seem to like stingy.
Well, no, because
I mean, Frugal
I don't want to be
Jack.
named after this
Frugal
guy.
Jack probably wouldn't have got gourds and everything, so maybe we should stick with stingy. It's a better
Stingy.
name, better word, right? Like that.
Yes. So there is a new website I found. I usually use history.com because
StingyJack.com?
No, it's not. I trust history.com. Okay. And I do use Wikipedia a lot, but I always put my sources on the podcast too. You can check it out. But it's called historicmysteries.com. And it goes into a bunch of like folklore and fables and things like that and gives you the origins behind them. So it's a pretty cool website.
Cool.
So that's where I'm giving you the story of the legend of Stingy Jack.
So it's reputable.
It is.
Excellent.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
This is just one version of it.
Brilliant.
And I'm going to tell it exactly as told on that website. But feel free to interject at any point in time.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So this is an old tale about a foul drunkard of a blacksmith known as Stingy Jack. Jack was a two-faced, deceitful schemer who thrived on manipulating people. His selfish spirit possessed not a shred of humanity or kindness for anyone, and the homeless beggars only repulsed him. Word of his vile reputation reached Satan, who took more than a passing interest in this evil man, so he put plans in motion to meet him.
I wanted to recruit him, right? So looking to recruit him.
Satan was intrigued.
Yeah.
Was definitely intrigued.
Of course. Well, this guy doesn't sound any good at all.
Well, you will see what he does to Satan.
Let's see.
Okay. One evening, in the dark hills of rural Ireland, one of Satan's devils posed as a dead man waiting for Stingy Jack to run into him. When Jack came across the body, a deranged face with wide eyes and an evil grin stared back at him. Stingy Jack instantly realized that his time was up and that the devil had come to collect his soul. He begged for a final request, which the demon granted. Jack told him that he wanted just one more drink before he had to depart the world, and he took the devil to the nearest tavern.
Slick move. Slick move. Even the devil can't say no to that, right? He's like, yeah, I'll have a drink with you, Jack. Sure.
One drink.
One drink, hey.
Yes.
This guy doesn't seem that big. I'll have a drink and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still doing his job,
right?
Getting to enjoy a little
Maybe
time.
no one knows. You don't know how closely he's watched.
Well, what happens when you only have one drink?
One drink leads to two.
One drink turned into another. Oof. And then another. And before too long, their consumption of alcohol exceeded the demand, and there was nothing left for the pair to drink. When it was time for them to settle up, Jack didn't have any money. He casually turned to his new drinking buddy and suggested that, since he was a devil with magical powers, he could simply transform himself into a piece of silver to pay the tab.
Perfect.
The devil obliged. But instead of paying, Jack rammed the coin into his pocket, aware that Stingy Jack had double-crossed him. The devil had fought to get out. However, a crucifix in the pocket trapped him in.
Nice move by Jack. So he was not only stingy, he was mighty smart.
Well,
a lot of guile.
Kept a crucifix in his
sure
pocket
did.
just in case he ever came upon a demon.
Well, if you're going to do evil and wrong every single day, keeping a crucifix around can help.
Did.
They certainly can, and it did.
At least in this moment.
Good planning.
So Jack made a deal with the devil. If he would leave Jack alone for a decade, he would release him from the coin, and the deal was made.
That was not a very scrupulous devil either, was it?
No, very clever of
very
Jack.
Devilly, though.
He could have been called Clever Jack.
Yeah. So note to self and rule for everybody. When you're dealing with the devil, you got to play by devil rules. Because he just beat him in his own devil game.
That's great advice.
That's good. I think so.
That might be the name of this episode.
It might be.
I like it.
Well, I'm glad.
All right. Well, the story is not over.
Excellent. Continue.
Once this amnesty was reached, the devil found Jack once more, ready to take him to hell. This time, however, Jack asked for an apple from a nearby tree to quell his hunger on the long journey. While the devil selected an apple, Jack carved 4 crucifixes on the bark of the tree, trapping the evil being within his branches. So trapped him in the tree,
nice.
Essentially.
Again, nice move.
Yes.
Yep. Nice move.
And the devil is seeming like a nice guy. He's like always like, all right, one more drink. Oh, you want an apple before you take the journey to hell?
Where are the evil devils? I mean, are they only sending like the real nice devils after this guy?
So, on the condition that Jack will not go to hell, Jack once again offered the demon his freedom. Once again, there was little choice but to submit to the man's wishes. Stingy Jack continued the rest of his life safe in the knowledge that he outsmarted the devil not once, but twice.
But twice.
There you go.
I get it.
Yeah. So, as we know, Jack was a drinker.
Evidently drank the devil under the table, right?
They
drank the house dry. Jeez, I've never done that. I don't know anybody who ever has.
So
weddings go dry sometimes, but holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Many years of alcoholism finally took their toll. And it seemed that Stingy Jack could outsmart the devil, but could not outsmart death when he found himself standing in front of the pearly gates. St. Peter turned him away.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Heaven, as you might know, would not welcome a lying, deceitful drunk.
Well, those are the rules, I think, of heaven. I mean, those actually, that's written right there from what I understand on like one of the posts. No lying, deceitful drunkards.
Drunkards.
Yeah.
Not allowed.
Right? So, again, note to everybody.
Undiscouraged, Jack headed towards hell, where his nemesis was biding his time to get revenge. But guess what?
Jack outsmarted the devil in hell.
No.
No.
Well, no. Okay. Satan refused him entry into hell.
Oh, so he can't go either way?
Nope.
You're kidding me. So what happens to someone then? This is very interesting.
Well, being that, I don't want to say that Satan's a nice guy, but he does seem to always give Jack a little something to help him out.
Oh, Jack must have a little special place in Satan's heart.
So here you go. Satan also refused him entry, citing the agreement that they made when Jack was very much alive. Although neither heaven nor hell allowed Jack entry, Satan did grant one last wish. So that this is the third wish, I guess.
No, he's definitely a nice guy. I mean, I've been behaving my life way too long. I'll take my chances with Satan. Be a good negotiator, that's all.
Jack asked Satan for an ember from the fiery depths of hell.
What is Jack going for now?
To give him, take a guess? Can you take a guess of what this...
A light to put in his face? No.
Close.
Oh, is it close?
You're very close.
Really? Okay.
So he wanted an ember from the fiery depths of hell. So he had a little light while he wandered the world in darkness because he's not accepted into heaven or hell. Oh. Right? Oh. So in order to carry his burning ember, he found a turnip, hollowed it out, made it into a makeshift lantern.
So symbolically in this story, the little tiny candle things or whatever we put in our jack-o'-lanterns are little stones from hell. Right?
Well, according to this one version of the story.
Yeah, but you said this was the truest version.
No, I didn't.
You didn't say that?
No, I did not.
Well, it's a great story.
So
I'll never look at the flames the same way again, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Huh. So ever since then, Jack's ghost could be seen wandering aimlessly around the Irish countryside. Whenever locals saw mysterious lights, they would say, "That's just jack-o'-lantern." Later, the term became synonymous with the name for Stingy Jack's wandering spirit, jack-o'-lantern. Oh, that's just Jack of the Lantern. Jack-o'-the-lantern. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. No.
Jack of the Lantern, but they wouldn't say of, they'd be like Jack-o'-the-lantern. Yes.
Oh,
do it.
Jack-o'-the-lantern.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
And then now we call it the Jack-o'-lantern instead of the Jack-o'-the-lantern.
Best Irish accent right there.
All right, so let's now bring this back to our tradition or how it kind of came.
Yep.
So, with evil Jack damned to wander the world until Judgment Day, the Gaelic Irish community did not want his spirit visiting their homes, so they took precautions on October 31st, the day of the Celtic festival of Samhain. On this day, the spirits of the netherworld could pass through to the world of the living. Ghosts were attracted to the living, so each home carved a menacing face into turnips and rutabagas and prominently displayed them on their doorsteps with a burning ember or candle, just like Jack's lantern. This would keep away spirits, including Jack, they hoped.
They hoped.
Yes.
Okay.
And then in the 19th and early 20th centuries, the Irish migrated to America and brought along their beliefs, holidays, and traditions. They quickly realized that there was a type of gourd indigenous to America that was bigger and better for carving jack-o'-lanterns.
And it's orange.
And it's called a pumpkin.
When it's ripe.
Yes. So on the same day as Samhain, which is October 31st, today, now, they have the number I was given was 145 million Americans will have bought and carved a homemade jack-o'-lantern to place on their doorsteps.
That's a lot of pumpkins.
It is.
Wow.
It's a lot of pumpkins.
It is. And we usually have at least 3, 4, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Right, at least 3 or 4. And sometimes a couple additional for like out front or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now there is I want to just go back to haunted houses because we have a haunted place near us that we went to a couple of years ago before COVID. Right. Yeah.
Shout out. Tremendous place. What is that? Lee, New Hampshire?
Yes.
Lee, New Hampshire?
Durham?
Or
Lee?
I think it's in Lee. Anyway, shout out. Awesome. They do unbelievable.
But the amount of jack-o'-lanterns they have, like really true carved jack-o'-lanterns, hundreds and hundreds.
Where don't they do, is it Jaffrey, New Hampshire, where they do the giant pumpkin festival? Jaffrey, New Hampshire, you should Google that if you have the ability to Google that. They, I think, will hold the world record. And
what is it called? The Giant Pumpkin Festival?
Jaffrey. I think it's Jaffrey, not Keene. It's out west. It's one of the two in New Hampshire. Have a huge pumpkin festival. It's definitely one of those, and it gets kind of scary. I think it's like a giant wall of pumpkins.
Right? I don't
Massive
know.
Stack of pumpkins.
It's a Keene. I found a Keene Pumpkin Festival.
Yeah, okay, so it's Keene, New Hampshire.
Yes.
Yeah, and thousands and thousands of people go.
And bring their own pumpkins or go to see like professional carved?
Probably all the above. I don't know exactly. I know it's a big to do.
Huh. That is interesting.
And I want to say it's like a world record holding, and they continue to break the world record and probably compete with someone else. But
all right. So I'm looking at pictures now, and I will also put this link in the notes of the podcast. Excellent. But you can look it up at pumpkinfestival.org. And apparently there's thousands. There's like walls of lit jack-o'-lanterns, and they do a big thing every year. And it looks like it might still be on this year.
Yeah, was it canceled
fingers
last year?
crossed. It was canceled because of COVID. So
hopefully it'll still be on. Back on this year.
But very cool. And it's, let's see, since just after the 2010 event, Keene Pumpkin Festival has been presented by the nonprofit organization Let It Shine from the Pumpkin Wars HGTV show.
Oh, which I wasn't aware of either.
Me either, to win in the world record.
So look at that. I'm telling the truth. All the tall tales I spin, and I'm telling the truth on that one.
It's rare.
Bringing content, honey. Bringing content.
I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
So, you can look that up, too. We'll have that available for you. But, that, again,
now, if you... how would you do that with a link? Do you, link it in your bio, or do you paste it into something?
It will be in the notes for the podcast episode.
In the notes?
Yep.
Okay.
Wherever you listen to this podcast, there'll be a little description and then notes that go along with it. Also, a link to the website and our email. And if you feel like throwing us a donation, there'll be a PayPal link there too. You can do that.
Buy us a cup of coffee kind of deal or whatever that is, or throw us a little coffee, a little pizza money, a little walking around money.
Why not? Why not? Maybe buy us some pumpkin money, and then we'll show you what we carved with it.
So it's cool because I didn't know how that worked. You said you kind of mentioned the link, and I just wasn't sure. I know everything, every platform might be a little different, whatnot. So cool people know that.
That'll be it.
Yeah, because that festival is very cool.
Also, if you have any pumpkin festivals out by you.
Yeah, that you want to share and let people know about.
Yes.
Kind of share the information.
Send us some pictures. Send us some information about it. I'd love to see it. Like I said, it's my favorite time of year. Also, any fall traditions that you have with your family or things that you do, I would love to hear that. I am always looking to incorporate some new cool things, mix it up a little bit into our family.
You want to learn stuff too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Learn new stuff all the time. And we don't know the area or the country and the world and as a whole that much, even though we try to fancy ourselves as travelers. We're Northeasterners that do a lot of traveling around the Northeast. And so, we'd love to read and learn about some of the things you guys have.
Yes. So that being said, you can email us at whypod@gmail.com. all one word, all lowercase.
Wait, what, why?
Pod at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
I knew what I
Yes,
was saying.
I know. And I think that's it. Anything else you wanted to bring up today?
Oh, yeah. As far as jack-o'-lanterns, obviously, in particular, right? I mean, not just we're going to have other stuff to talk about because you're going to be thinking all types of crazy festive stuff. But yeah. So what about the Ichabod Crane thing? What do you know about that? I mean, where does that come from? The Headless Horseman and stuff like that. That's going to be someone different. That isn't that.
That's not Stingy Jack.
That's not Stingy Jack,
That's
right?
a different
So who is that guy?
story.
He used to throw flaming pumpkins at people, right? Jack-o'-lanterns and stuff.
Ooh, that sounds like a nice new drink.
Scooby-Doo had some great, episode.
I think you should create a drink
Halloween
called
episode.
the Flamin' Pumpkin.
I think my drink creating days are behind me.
Or if someone out there knows of a drink called a Flamin' Pumpkin,
No, I guess
send
that's
us
it.
a recipe.
I guess that's it. That's fine. Like I said, I didn't have a big tradition about it, so there's obviously a big background. But yeah, there's a big Irish community. I did kind of think of that when you were reading about it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a lot to do with the immigration in this country. But now, is it a worldwide thing? Do you know? Is it pretty much an American?
No,
tradition?
people do it all over.
all
Well,
over the
European.
world? Well, the Irish
mostly,
have gone
and
everywhere
yes,
too. I mean, I'm
yes.
sure they've brought their traditions.
Yeah.
Assuming it's only Irish.
And we will talk more about that because we're going to go into talking about trick or treat in a little bit. And maybe in the next episode, I can see if, in the meantime, find a connection between the Headless Horseman and Stingy Jack. I don't know that there is one, but there might be. Who knows?
There might be.
So, yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us. We absolutely appreciate all of you, and especially if you're taking the time to listen to us two chuckleheads talk about things that we love. Yeah. So during the month of October, we're going to continue to look at Halloween traditions. We're going to talk about trick-or-treating next. There will be a bonus episode coming up, guest starring my daughter, Cameron, or one of my daughters, Cameron.
Bonus episodes.
Called The Psychology of Fear. That will be coming out closer to Halloween. I'd like to thank Francis for our amazing podcast artwork.
Thank you, Francis.
And again, reach out to us and let us know your stories, your questions, anything you have to share with us. We'd appreciate it. And you can email us again at waitwhatwhypod@gmail.com. Please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. See you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.